Hello everyone, Kristina here. Welcome to another walkthrough video for a new release with my line with Concord and Ninth, Kristina Werner with Concord and Ninth. This is a walkthrough video for the January 2025 release. I can't believe we're already in 2025, but here we go. I'm going to walk you through all of the stamps, dies, and stencils in this release and all of the cards that I've created for this particular release. I've used like all the products in with each other. So you're going to see a few repeats of cards just as I, go through each product. I just want to point out where the product was used. So let's get going. The Happy Love Day bundle has 3 different products in it. You've got this 3x3 stamp set, a small set of dies, and then you have the stencils. There are 4 6x9 stencils in this stencil set, and when you use them all together, you can get like a multicolored heart pattern. It's super fun. You can do it a bunch of different ways. You can have, stencil all of the hearts the same color and get a 1 color pattern, or you can use all 4 with 4 colors. It's a lot of fun. So this die set in particular, these 2 open hearts cut out the larger hearts in the stamp set. And then you have a little baby heart that's just on its own. The Happy Love Day sentiment has the actual sentiment plus the shadow die. And then on the stamp set, we have a bunch of these little interior greetings that you can pair inside the stamped hearts or the hearts from the stencil. So this heart is the same size as the large heart on the stencil, and the smaller heart is the same size as the smaller heart on the stencil. So you can kind of mix and match those as you will. Here's my first card that I created with this. You can see I did a gold shadow layer with the white greeting on top. I also die cut that little tiny heart to go right in the center of the O. I stenciled this background with 4 different colors of ink, and then he embossed in gold these little words right in the center of the hearts. Now, if you wanted to stamp these, you could also do that as well. So, and then this gold border on the outside, that is actually from my A2 Thin Frames die set that came out, gosh, was it, I can't remember if it was last month or maybe it was the month before, but it's been out for a little bit. This 5x7 card used the stencil with 4 different colors of ink. This is actually ballet ink, ballet slipper, pink lemonade, honeysuckle, and poppy. And then I cut out a large poppy circle and popped that greeting right on top. And this frame right here is from the A7 Thin Layers frames. So just to finish up that 5x7 card. For these other 2 cards, I actually used the stamps and stencils. I used a bunch of different products from this release actually. I stamped this large heart repeatedly in different colors. And over here I stenciled that heart pattern on the background. I also used the Happy Valentine's Day greeting from the stamp set right below. The You Make Me Smile dies is a really small die set. It's got an inexpensive price point, but it really does pack a punch. You can do quite a few different things with it. On this first card, which also used the Happy Love Day bundle, I stenciled that background. And then I used the same 4 colors that I used for the hearts to cut out the different words for the greeting. I used the shadow die to put that together. And just a little tip for you when you're adhering the individual words onto that shadow layer is you're going to start with the words that are on the outside edge first. So I started with the word you, and then I went to me and smile, and then I came in with the make, because the word make only has this top edge to kind of get that spacing just right. So I did the perimeter words first and then came in with this center word, and that seemed to help me get the spacing just a little bit easier. Here's another example of this die set, and this time I did not use the shadow layer, and I rearranged the words so that they were more in a vertical stacking. I thought that looked really nice on top of those hearts. These 2 products are not sold in a bundle, but I did use them together for some card examples, so I wanted to show them to you together. I've got the Love You So Much block die, as well as the Diagonal Lines background stamp. So this die in particular is a little bit special because it actually cuts out a rectangular window with the words inside it. So you're going to see that on this example right here. all of this midnight cardstock is all one piece. I just cut out that die from the center, and then I used one of the A2 thin frames dies that came out previously, and it fits perfectly around that die cut window with the words. Now, if you don't want to use it as a window, you can do what I've done on this card, which is I cut it out of some gold cardstock, and then I use that same thin frame die, and I just cut it out around the outside edge. And so this is the interior that's left. You could also just use an X-Acto knife and a ruler, or any other A2 like layered die that you might have in your stash. It'll cut it out in just the right proportions. So on these two cards, I've also used this diagonal background stamp, diagonal lines background stamp. On this card, I have them going off toward the left. And on this card, I actually stamped it twice, rotating my cardstock 90 degrees so that I could get a grid pattern instead of just the diagonal lines. I also wanted to point out that I used the diagonal line background stamp on this little strip of cardstock on this card. And I've also used it on top of some gold cardstock here with white heat embossing. I stamped it in one direction, and then I turned the stamp and moved it down the cardstock so I could have that grid at the bottom and just the stripes at the top. This is a really fun stamp set. Please excuse the staining. This is a well-loved stamp set after making some samples. The Our Love Story stamps is a really large designed element that it's made for an A2 sized card. Now I'm going to show you an example where I've repeated the image on a larger card, but it is sized perfectly for a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. The interior area of the design is left open so that you can put these other phrases inside. For those of you outside of the United States who might spell the word favorite a little bit differently, I've included a different spelling up here as well. And so all of these greetings down here kind of pair together and finish the phrase for I love our love story. I love every day with you. Whereas these greetings up here, all of these kind of pair together to create your finished phrase for your card. So here's a really simple card, very straightforward, just on some cranberry cardstock with some gold heat embossing. You could definitely change out the greeting for whatever you'd like. And I will give you a tip when it comes to stamping with this large design element. If you're using a MISTI or a stamp positioning tool or a platform of some sort, I find it best to just barely let the stamp kiss the surface of the cardstock and stamp it multiple times if needed. That helps preserve the very thin, dainty lines of the stamp image. For this card, I took a few different colors of Concord and 9th cardstock, and I pieced them all together into a pattern, and then I stamped and heat embossed that image. For the center area, I stamped and then cut that out with my X-Acto knife, and just popped that up right on top for just a little bit of a dimensional look on this card. And here's that example of a larger card made with that stamp. I started kind of off to the right, completely centered, and then just brought in the corners of that image in other areas. Now, if you're using a MISTI for all of your stamping, just know that your stamp might hang out the edge of your MISTI a little bit. You'll have to get creative with how you stamp this one in particular to make sure that you can get all of those edges on your design. And one final card, I actually paired it up with a different greeting stamp set that is also in this collection. This is from the Mixed Greetings Love stamp set. But what I did was I took this large image as well as the You're the Best stamp, and I stamped it in a rainbow or multicolored fashion, going from pink to red and down to blue. Then I stamped the image and added a little heart there. The Knit with Love stencils is a 2-pack of stencils with a fun knit design on it. You've got the positive of this knit heart, and then you also have 2 little stripes. And then on the other stencil, it has the area all around. So when you put these two together, you get a full kind of knit pattern. You can use them together or separate individually. I think it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of different options for this one. So I'm going to show you some different examples of using them This is a very simple card where I just used this main heart right here, ink blended, and then did some heat embossing on top. The greetings on this card are from the Mixed Greetings Love stamp set. Here's an example of using both stencils together to create a full pattern. So I used a bunch of different colors. I've got pink lemonade, honeysuckle, a little bit of poppy, and then some more cranberry around those edges. I also stamped a cranberry greeting using that same stamp set and then die cut it out. Very simple but unique card. For a third example using the Knit with Love stencils is this one where I just used the one that has the outside pattern. So I used some sea glass cardstock with juniper ink, and then I came in and filled those gaps with some greetings from that stamp set. The Mixed Greetings Love Stamps and Dies, or the Mixed Greetings Love Bundle, consists of a stamp set and dies. There are dies for every single image in the stamp set, so it's really versatile when you get both of these together. So I'm going to walk you through some of the cards that I made using this stamp and die. So I've got this greeting right here in the center. This circle was cut using the circle in the Kristina's Essentials die set. It's a really nicely sized circle and it fits that greeting really well. I've also got the Hey Babe right up here. I thought that was just super cute. This next card, I stamped the really large, tall, stacked greeting right here. And I just transitioned from a light pink down to a blue using that multicolor rainbow stamping technique. Had a little heart at the bottom, and then I did a little bit of ink blending just at the bottom. This card paired the You Are the Best greetings and the Happy Valentine's Day greeting with the larger Our Love Story image from the Our Love Story stamp set. This heart right here is from the Mixed Greetings Love stamp set, and I just used the die to cut that out. All right, here's some more of those greetings from the stamp set. There's a really big variety of different fonts and greetings on this one. And there's also, here's that little Hey Babe once again. And then I've got the Sending Hugs and the Happy Valentine's Day, just heat embossed in white. Let's take another look at those greetings. There's quite a few that I didn't even have a chance to use, even with all the cards that I made. I don't think I used the hugs. I don't think I used the I love you. This greeting right up here, or this really large circle greeting right here. Those are just a few of the ones I didn't even have a chance to create with, just because there are so many different stamps. So that is the entire January 2025 release from Kristina Werner with Concord and Ninth. Everything is available now at concordatninth.com. And thanks so much for joining me. I can't wait to see what you all create with all of these kind of love-themed products.